Hello, Chief folks. Let's see if people come on here. Hi, Aaron. Let's see who comes. It's 11:12. I think I got it started at 11:11. All right, I'm doing this on my computer instead of my phone, and I don't think I've ever done a live on my laptop instead of on my phone. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what people want to do. I was trying to decide if I should tap with you all or if I should do a meditation. Maybe I'll just teach you tapping. We'll do like, hello, Tara. See who else comes on here. So you tell me what you guys want. Tell me in the comments. Do you want to tap or do you want to do a meditation? Who wants to learn tapping? I'll teach tapping. I can do that. I do trauma work with my clients, so I feel like everything I do is super intense. I don't feel like that's really required for this video. I feel like I could chill out a little bit, but sometimes I don't know how to lower the intensity level. That's just who I am. Hi, Kay. It's so good to see you. Oh gosh, I love all you people. I wish we were meeting in person, but at least we're here. All right, Tara, tapping it is. Tara gets the vote. And I think Rose Sheltima is scheduled somewhere on these dailies to do some tapping as well. She's a good friend of mine, and she's really good too. So I got a few people on here. Looks like I got about 6 or 7 eyes looking at it. So we'll start here. Somebody's giving me sad face emojis. Who's going through all the emojis at once? Oh gosh, look. So the camera is reversed. That's going to be trippy for tapping. Does anyone know how to switch the camera so it's mirroring me? I don't know. Okay, I'll just be tapping. All right, tapping it is. So tell me how you're feeling today. What do you want to tap on? Are we feeling anxious? Are we feeling lonely? Are we feeling frustrated? Are we feeling maybe we're in a really good place? The couple of people who checked in when I asked before said you were actually feeling pretty good. Erin said she was feeling motivated and productive. Helene said even though she was sick, she's feeling pretty good. So what should we tap on? Give me some suggestions in the comments. If somebody has something that's like a rising emotion that's pretty strong for you right now, we can tap on that. I'm generally out of sync with the rest of the world, so I'm feeling pretty good about the social isolation thing. I don't have a whole lot of anxiety or whatever. Plus, I am home with my kids all the time anyway, since we homeschool. And we're out here in my woods. See my woods? So, there we are. So we're out here in the middle of nowhere, just doing what we always do anyway. All right. I'm not getting a lot of suggestions here that I can see. So I'll just get started. Oh, Kay's feeling anxious and scared. All right, well, we can go on that. We can go on anxious and scared. So for those of you who don't know, I'm going to do like a speed workshop on EFT tapping, and this is clinical EFT, so clinical emotional freedom techniques. Lots of people use tapping. In general, clinical EFT gets shortened down to the word tapping, just as like a little shortcut, but lots of people tap. You might have been taught that you have some points on your wrists. You might have been shown some points on your ankles or knees that you can tap to calm yourself down. If you've ever done EMDR therapy, I think they use some alternate tapping on the chest point there. So this clinical EFT is a formal way of using this tapping points therapeutically. So what we have is let's see, I'm trying to follow your, okay, trying to follow your comments, sorry. Hey, Karen, yeah. And Linda's here. All right, awesome. So there's two parts to clinical EFT. One is the setup, and the other then is tapping through the points. So what EFT does is it taps on acupressure points on your head and torso, and we'll hit one on the hand while we're reciting a script. So the script is based on neurolinguistic programming. The tapping points are, like I said, acupressure points. So they're points on the body, and in this situation, they tap directly into parts of our nervous system. So the tapping all by itself is very calming. I like to call it gentle self-touch, and it will calm down the body's stress response. So it will settle down just your body. You know, if you find your heart is racing, or you've got some emotions in your gut, or you're just feeling really anxious or frustrated, or you're feeling really any emotion really strongly, just simply tapping on these points will send a message to your nervous system that it's okay, it's safe to settle down a little bit, it's safe to lower that activation level. So just tapping on the point is very, very calming. And then when we add the scripting in, we're adding in all this other great stuff that your brain can process, your body can process, everything's processing with this. So we'll go with Allison. Hello, feeling a bit overworked but happy. Grace is feeling confused. I'm wondering if anxious and confused are sort of wrapped up together in this. It's kind of an unknown how long we're going to be doing this. It's unknown. Are we going to be personally deeply affected by it? It's unknown. Are we going to be able to get the things we need to get when we run out of our words of toilet paper? So there's like a lot of confusion. My daughter had to drive out to Pittsburgh to her college to pick up all of her stuff and get it out of the dorm and bring it home. And that was confusing because we didn't know, like, are they closing the college down? Clearly they are, but they're not saying they are yet. So there's like a lot of uncertainty, and uncertainty can bring us some feelings of anxiety too. We'll tap around that. So here's the first part, is the setup, and the point we tap on here for the setup is on the side of the hand. We call this the side of the hand point. On the side of the hand. And I generally tap with these two fingers. You can tap with all your fingers, one finger, whatever. It really doesn't matter. So we start out tapping on this side of the hand, and we're going to do a setup statement. So we're going to say the same thing, and we're going to repeat it twice. So we'll be saying the same thing 3 times. And this is just to kind of help us kind of tune in, key into the emotions. It's also, the script is designed to enter into like the kind of activating and anxious feelings, and also hold space for positivity, for the fact that it's okay to feel whatever it is that we feel. It's okay to acknowledge those feelings. So we're going to hold space for both of those things while we tap here, and that'll be reflected in the script. So here we go. Just do what I do and say what I say, and hopefully you'll feel a little bit of release from some of this anxiousness. All right. Even though I'm feeling a bit anxious and uncertain in these anxious and uncertain times, I accept myself and how I feel. Now we're going to continue tapping on this point. We're going to say something like that 2 more times. Even though there's a lot of confusion right now, and I'm not sure what to do or how to respond or how I'm going to take care of myself, and I'm a bit anxious about that, I accept myself and how I feel. One more time. Even though there's a lot of confusion and anxiety, anxious thoughts roaming around inside of me right now with this virus, and I'm not sure how to respond to it, I'm not sure what to do, I accept myself and how I feel. All right, so that's what we call the setup. Now we're going to tap through the points on the head and the torso. and I'll show you the points. So the first point is here on top of the head. Someone just pointed out to me that I tend to go in a circle, but if you have ever had a baby and your baby had, you know, that little soft spot on their head, that's kind of where you're going for. When you tap on these points, you should feel energetically activated. So you should just kind of tap around a little bit up here and see if you can find the spot where you're like, oh yeah, I can feel it now, right? So fortunately, I'm talking to a bunch of holistic folks who are used to tapping into their body's energy system in one way or another. So you'll know what I mean maybe by this. Oh my gosh, okay. I'm freaked out by the oppositeness of the video. So if I grabbed the wrong side of my body, I apologize. So this is the first point up here on the head. The next one is what we call the eyebrow point. And you have points on both sides of your face here. You can tap on one side, you can tap on the other side, you can tap on both together. It really doesn't matter. The next point, the eyebrow point, is here, right at the end of the eyebrow. So the bridge of the nose, not quite in the middle where the bridge is, but off to the side where your eyebrow ends there. So we call this the eyebrow point. That you have a point on both sides. This is a little awkward to tap them both because there's not a lot of room in there. So we'll tap here. The next point is what we call the side of the eye point. These are also aptly named, which is literally on the side of the eye. So like your eye bone comes in this kind of this oval shape here, and right there where the eye bone meets your eye, that's the next point. Side of the eye point. Then we have the under the eye point, which is over this bone, which is over your sinuses. If you have allergies right now, this might feel really good, or it might feel really frustrating. Let me say too that you don't necessarily have to tap, we call it tapping, but if it's more comfortable for you to just sort of press a little bit on these points, and just press into them instead of tapping. Sometimes tapping is difficult for people. Like I worked with somebody with an eye condition, and she was more comfortable just rubbing it instead of tapping it. So you may have a reason like that. Same with the sinuses, same with this under the eye point. During allergy season, it might be really more comfortable to press into it and rub it a little bit than to tap on it. Under the nose is the next one, and here I'm going to switch to one finger because this meridian goes straight down here, so we don't want to straddle the meridian accidentally by using two fingers. So I'll switch to one finger here, and it's just that little spot in between your nose and your upper lip. And then the next point is here on your chin. Your chin, where it kind of juts out a little bit, has that little cleft. You're just going to tap on that shelf. And again, I'm going for this meridian point here on this point on this meridian. So I'm going to use one finger there. So far we've got the head point, the top of the head. We've got the eyebrow point, side of the eye point, under the eye point, under the nose, and the chin point. The next point is on the collarbone, which isn't actually, we call it the collarbone point, but it's not actually on the bone. So you can feel the bone along here, and then you're going to go off to the side here where there's not bone. If you press on it, it kind of hurts a little bit. And that's where we're going to shoot for the collarbone point. Call it the collarbone point, but it's not on the collarbone, next to the collarbone. And then the last point that we're going to do is the under the arm point. This is about maybe 3 or 4 inches down from your armpit, and if you're not as saggy as I am, but even with where your nipples, where a man's nipples would lay on his chest. So right about there, straight down from the armpit and across here. So that's our last point. So just tap with me through the points. We'll practice tapping these points. This is the eyebrow point, side of the eye point, under the eye point. You can do this with either hand. You can do it with both hands. Sometimes a lot of times I switch here. When you're doing under the arm, you can do it like this, or you can cross over. It really doesn't matter. Some people like to cross both. I think I tend to do it this way. So those are our points. So we've done a little setup on feeling anxious and a little confused about these times, and we'll continue to use that as we tap through the points. So again, just do what I do and say what I say. So these uncertain times, these uncertain times, these uncertain times. This virus is causing uncertain times. I feel unclear, feel a little confused, feel anxious, feel like I don't like the way this feels. These uncertain times with this virus. I wish I didn't feel so unclear. I wish I didn't feel so confused. I wish I didn't feel so anxious. But I do. It's okay. It's okay to feel what I feel, especially during uncertain times. I've never experienced this before. All new. We're all doing this together. It's okay to feel anxious. It's okay to feel frustrated. It's okay to feel confused. It's okay. It's okay to not understand my place in this. It's okay to not understand my place in this. Stop tapping here and take a nice deep breath together. And it's nice to think of all of us kind of breathing this in together. When you're taking that deep breath, try to pull it all the way in, down to your belly, all the way down to your belly, and then let it out nice and slowly. And this is a good time when you're breathing out to kind of check in with your body. I feel pretty energized. I feel a little tingly in my face. So I know we're moving some energy here. Kind of check in with your body, check in with those anxious, confused, frustrated responses, and see if you've been able to settle that down a little bit. Take a minute, feel into it, check into it. And hopefully that's settled down a little bit. And what we did, like I said at the beginning, was we're holding space for both things to be true. For two things to be true at once, right, Karen? That we can feel anxious and we can accept those feelings. That it's okay to both this kind of feels like a negative experience, which really just is an experience, right? We don't need to place judgment on it. And it's also doesn't make us a bad person or a challenging person. Things can be true at once, that we can be okay. And we can feel anxious or frustrated or confused. Both things are true at once. And that's the core for me of what tapping does energetically, is allow us to hold that energetic space for all of that while we're talking to our body and tuning into it. So I'm going to leave it there. I think I'm hoping this would go. Does anybody want to keep tapping? Anybody have something? Feel like you're not done yet? I don't like to leave people in an unsafe place. So if you feel like you're not done yet, we can tap a little more out. You can do this on your own. It's a self-care method. Now you know the method. You know it works. And maybe in the comments I'll put a little PDF of the process for you that I've created for my clients, so everybody can have that. So thank you for tapping with me today, and I'm really looking forward to these little dailies, these Chi Together dailies that we're going to be doing. We have a great lineup for you. Erin's in charge of that schedule, so I don't know who's coming up. I know some of the people that have offered to bring that to us every day. So every day at 11:11, right here in the Community for Holistic Integration Facebook group, somebody will be here to guide you on some distance for as long as is necessary while we're all self-isolating. All right, guys, I really love our Chi community, and I love each of you, and I hope you're getting through okay, and I hope this is helpful to you. So have a fabulous day. Take care, folks. I'd end the video if my computer would let me. Good Lord.